Brad, always good to see you. Look at us with our almost matching backgrounds.
Look at us, dude. We're back. We're back again.
Hell yeah, it's good to see you, man. Thank you
It's
for talking.
yeah.
Uh, dude, X-Men '97, I thought it was awesome. I really was like, I was almost relieved by how much I enjoyed it because I was like nervous watching to like revisit this, and it was awesome, man. These first three episodes are fantastic. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I do have to start with one question that I just want to get out of the way, and I'm sure you're getting asked about this quite a bit. But with Beau leaving the project, Beau DeMayo leaving the project a week ago, I would just love to hear, has that had any impact on the project we're about to see, or anything like that that we're going to feel in the future, or just what you can speak about the any changes that have come from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's filmmaking, right? It's a community has to come together with a single vision to conjure something on the screen. And you know, it, it takes the passion of many talented people to bring something like X-Men '97 to life. Bo had a lot of respect and passion, a lot of respect for these characters, a lot of passion behind the storytelling. Wrote scripts that 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 the creative team was able to draft from. And uh, and we're already through the animatic phase of season two, but even that we're still developing story even in animatic usually.
Hmm.
And we're developing season three. So his I'm grateful for his contribution. Um, uh, but as they say, the show must go on, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by one of the best creative teams I've ever worked with.
Yeah, what you all accomplished as a unit here is incredible. Also, shout out to the Miss Marvel, She-Hulk slates behind you there. So I'm looking at your background, and man, this is a cool office, dude. They got some Emmy awards casually, no big deal. Okay, but back to X-Men '97 because I could waste all the time in this interview talking about your background there. Uh,
You didn't mention Castle Grayskull over here.
oh my God, look, dude, and also your sweatshirt. So props to you for wearing that this week, man. What a
Yeah,
week it's
yeah,
been.
yeah. R.I.P. Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, of course.
Talk about an influential cartoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really had an impact on me as a kid, and my interests and stuff. But okay, uh, one of the things people love about X-Men the animated series, the original one, us hardcore fans, is how it really follows some comic storylines. Can we expect the '97 to kind of take some storylines we know and follow them, while also, of course, doing its own thing? But will comics be an influence in this one in a big way?
Absolutely. Just like the original series, that was drafting so heavily from Chris Claremont's work.
Hmm.
We're continuing that. We're looking at that late '70s, mid '70s to early '90s kind of era. We do start to play outside of the Chris Claremont sandbox a little bit into the '90s.
Hmm.
Like almost getting to Grant Morrison. Um, um, but it's definitely like it's just like the OG series, like it's drafting from the stories from the books.
That's so much fun. I remember with What If, something that was discussed to the filmmakers there was like, hey, we can't, we're trying not to use characters until we use them in live action, storylines until they debut in live action. Obviously, the Marvel Studios has not used X-Men yet. This is the first foray into X-Men, aside from, a post-credit scene cameo. But how did that factor into this show, if at all?
Well, it actually was kind of liberating to be able to stay in the '90s
Mm,
sandbox. Allowed us to go places that we could just do it. We could be so iterative and do so many things that we wouldn't be able to do if we were more MCU adjacent, like What If is. I mean, What If is like we're literally remixing
yeah,
the MCU, so it's harder to introduce characters because you want to see them in live action. Although we do see Bill Foster as Giant Man in the second
that's
season.
true.
That's new. So and actually in the third season, spoiler alert, like we do start to push at that boundary a little bit more. We have there's more fun to be had with the multiverse and who can kind of come in.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
I can't wait to see that. Hey, Ross Marquand is your new Professor X. He
Yep.
was Red Skull in Infinity War. Red Skull once possessed the brain of of Xavier. So do you guys have big plans for Ross? What are you guys cooking there?
Wow, that's a wild theory. I think it has more to do with the fact that Ross is like one of the most talented voice artists working today
Absolutely.
in animation, and we're lucky to have him. I mean, you know, we were able to get so many of the OG cast back.
Hmm.
But we unfortunately we had to recast Xavier, and Ross, he does a great Xavier.
And he's a great dude too. He's so talented and just a great dude to just hang out with. I love Ross, man. But hey, Uncanny Avenger storyline confirmed. There it is. Uh, there's a couple other projects I'd love to ask you about since you oversee all the streaming, animation, television. There's one hot rumor about my favorite character that I don't know the sources of it. It's just one of those things that bounces around on social media. Nova. I'm never going to stop asking about Nova until I see Nova. The hot one about Nova is that it's going to be a special presentation. Can you give me anything about my guy Richard Rider or Sam Alexander? All another great version of the character.
Uh, we love Nova. We are in really early development on Nova. We have a new system behind the scenes at Marvel Studios where we're developing. We're more like a traditional studio now. We're developing more than we actually will produce. So
Mm,
there are plans to develop Nova. I love Nova too. I love Rich Rider too. Like I hope it gets to the screen. The world is chaos. There's always things. It's hard to make anything. You got to conjure these things to make them happen. But I would love to see a Nova show one day.
hey man, one day. One thing you guys already wrapped up. This is my last question for you. One thing you guys wrapped up is Ironheart, which has been pushed down the line a little bit. I'd love to hear if you could speak on when we can expect that, and if there's anything you can speak to about the delays there, if there's any changes being made or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, like, in all honesty, there was a mandate to kind of create as much as we could for Disney Plus as quickly as we could. And then there was a shift, and all of a sudden, we have to, start spreading our release dates out. So
Hmm.
that really accounts for a lot of the delays. Now we're using that time. We're not sitting idle. So it's like it's kind of it stays in the oven. You can bake certain things a little more. You can kind of like it's actually I think ultimately, it's only going to make things better. But most of it's just frankly like just just shrapnel from the business, of
Yeah.
streaming.
Yeah, man. Dude, well, thank you. I appreciate those answers, man. You're always so candid and honest with it, and your passion comes through too. So, Brad, it's always great to talk to you, man. Thank you so much for hanging, and I can't wait to see the rest of X-Men '97.
Thanks, Brandon.